Since it's raging thunderstorms outside, I thought this would be a great day to rewatch and review the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, starting with 2003's Pirates of the Caribbean Curse of the Black Pearl. I watched this on Disney+. I haven't seen these films in quite a while. I can't remember full of them, but I do remember the first one. It's always the one I've gone back and rewatched the most. This stars Johnny Depp as, of course, Captain Jack Sparrow, Keira Knightley as Elizabeth Swann, and Orlando Bloom as Will Turner. I really enjoy the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie, and I've always wanted to talk about it on this channel. I'm not a huge fan of this franchise, but I do love this first film, and let's get into my reasons why. This film is a Disney film, of course, and it's very hard-edged for a Disney live-action film, which I really appreciated at the time. And my god, this movie is just made to be so entertaining. I think the direction here is great. The action sequences come and go very, very quickly, but they're given enough time and enough weight to be so entertaining. The sword fight sequences are amazing, the ship-to-ship cannon fires are incredible, and the majority of this movie's entertainment all comes down to Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow, which isn't even the main character of this film. You could sort of argue he is, but it's really about Will Turner and Elizabeth Swann, and their story, I think, is done extremely well in this film. And I love the backstory of Will Turner. I love Elizabeth Swann's character. I think she's done really, really well in the film. And I think their performance is the best in the entire franchise. This film, none of the other films in this franchise have even come close to comparing to this one. This one just has everything. It has incredible writing. I love a lot of Johnny Depp's incredible performance here. And the majority of it is improvised out of the series. And you can really tell because it's so fun. And his lines come and go so quick. It's extremely entertaining. I love his character in this movie. His introduction as well. He always has an incredible introduction in each film. And his introduction in this one is my favourite. Just everything about this first Pirates of the Caribbean film is so fun. From the pacing, I do have a few issues with the film. And some of that does come down to some of the pacing. I think the first act is paced pretty superbly. And the third act, I think, is so enjoyable. It's just great. But the in the middle, it does halt for a little bit. Each of the Pirates of the Caribbean films all have that one little section where they just halt in the pace, and they're just on a ship, travelling to somewhere, nothing much is happening, it's just to move the plot and the characters along, and there just isn't much going on there, and this one does have that. It has the least of that, but it has about that 10-minute section where it does drag a little bit in the pace, because all these Pirates of the Caribbean films, the first three anyway, are really long, and this one does just drag a little bit in the middle, and I wish there was just a little bit more for Will Turner and Elizabeth Swann's character. I really like their characters, I like their romance, I like their history within the film. The opening scene, I think, sets them up really, really well, but I just wish there was just a little bit more for those characters in the middle portion of the movie, because they don't really do much, to be honest. They just sort of go on Jack on his adventure, and they have their motivations, they're likeable characters, but they need a lot more weight, and sometimes the sequels didn't give them that, so I wish they maybe had that a little bit more in this film, but that's really about my issues away with this film. The majority of it is extremely well-directed action sequences. I don't even have to talk about the musical score, because it's amazing. It's incredible. I think Hans Zimmer does a better job at the scores in the next two films, but my god, the musical score is iconic to this day. Every time I hear it, I just want to grab a sword and just fight everyone. It's incredible. I love that music. It's just so inspirational. It gets me moving. It's great. I love it. I'll listen to it any day, all the time. I love it. But also the visuals are pretty excellent. There's a few CGI shots that look a bit weak, but the majority part, the skeletons they use for the villains, especially Barbossa, which Barbossa's a great villain. I think they develop his character a lot more in the third film, but they do a really good job with Barbossa's character in this movie, and is a really solid villain for Jack. You can tell they have a history there. A lot of this movie comes down to what these characters had in the past that we don't get to see, and the history of those characters that we don't see. But it explains them in little areas where you can sort of understand the conflict there, and I think it's done really, really well. But I really enjoy Barbossa's crew who turn into skeletons. There's an added horror element here. This movie just has a bunch of different elements. It has a pirates element, it has just pure action adventure, has some scenes of horror, great humour. I think this movie is really funny.
Not sure I deserve it. I may have deserved it.
It's scary at places, and of course with those skeleton things, sometimes the CGI can look a little off with them, but there's a great action scene towards the end, of course, as you know, the sequence in the gold place, where Barbossa and Jack are fighting, and you of course see the skeletons as they shine on the light. Really great sequence. I love that scene. I think the first Pirates of the Caribbean is great. There's nothing much to add. I love the ending scene as well, where you see Will Turner's development. He's sort of turned into a pirate, and I like Jack, who's just a very unconventional pirate.
You're a pirate. Forgot one very important thing, mate. Captain Jack Sparrow.
Overall, the first Pirates movie is just complete and utter fun. It's not supposed to hit you on an emotional level, and it doesn't. I think the third one does quite a bit, but this one has no interest in impacting you emotionally. It's just supposed to, you watch it, you have some fun, and there wasn't really many Pirates big blockbusters since this. This movie definitely takes inspiration from a lot of other things, meshes it together, but does it in a fun way. I think Curse of the Black Pearl is easily the best Pirates movie, and every time I rewatch it, I have a great time. It's so well paced, it has so many incredible action sequences, incredible score, really fun performances, great humour, some solid scary moments. Also, I didn't realise that each of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies have end credit scenes, so that was interesting on this watch. But still, Curse of the Black Pearl is very enjoyable. I love it. It's great. I'm going to give Pirates of the Caribbean Curse of the Black Pearl an A-. I'm also going to give this movie a 9 out of 10. Guys, comment down below your opinions on the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, and of course, thanks for watching, and goodbye.
Say goodbye.